Oops.
Whoa.
Hello. And it's being recorded. So. Oh. All right. Hello, everyone. If you can see us. Where's it gone? Oh, I know.
Have you checked your down the bottom? Was a row of.
Hello, Karina. Now you're not supposed to be able to see us. You're not supposed to be able to see us.
Yeah, we muted you as well.
And I've muted you, so we can't hear you. That's fine. So you're muted. That's fine. Why can't I share screen?
Down the bottom, there's usually a series of icons down the bottom.
Ah, here we go.
Aha.
So we want that one.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. I can. Oh, there's an AB in there as well.
Oh.
Shouldn't be able to hear you though.
You don't want to hear me?
No.
No, we wouldn't say that.
Say that.
No.
We want you to see that. There we are. Let's pick that up and move that. The wonders of technology, eh? Bear with us, everybody. Bear with us. How is everybody this evening?
Oh, really marvellous.
You're marvellous. Right, Karina, I'm going to mute you if that's all right.
That's fine.
Good. Hello, Anik. Wave if you can hear me.
No.
Can you hear me, Anik? And Paul, can you hear me? So what do I have on the screen share? What are they seeing? We want...
Go back to Karina and ask her. Stop laughing.
I know. Give us 2 seconds, guys. I'm just trying to work out what I'm doing.
This webinar is all about how to do a webinar.
Well, I've not used Zoom for a webinar before, so that's all fine. Right. Where's... Speaker view. I don't want that. Gallery view. I'm glad everybody's here though already. I'm glad you're all ready. We have got screen share on, haven't we? Ooh. Right. Exit full screen. Where's my other thing? That. No. Oops. No, I didn't mean to do that. Wrong button. Sorry, guys. Just honestly, give me 2 seconds. I'm just trying to work out because...
Stop killing yourself laughing. That's not very nice.
That's not funny.
No.
Don't laugh at us. Oh, Sonny's made it. Right. Oh, hello, PJ. Can you hear us? And Benedict.
How comes they?
I don't know. If you can hear us, can you do a little thumbs up?
Well, Karina can.
Karina can hear us, so yeah. Brilliant. That's good. That's a correct thing.
So I think some people have muted themselves.
Yeah, that's fine. Here we go. This is what we want. So what we want is that there, and we put that there. Brilliant. Okay. And so can Ender's here as well. No, I didn't want that. That's what I didn't want. Stop share. Hello. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. So we do that one. Share. There we go. So can you all see a big screen now?
Yeah.
With the front of the webinar. Is that all good? You can see the move your networking online, Tony Silver, Ash Taylor. Is that right?
Yep.
Brilliant. How come you're not muted? I might mute people just so we can keep them under control, and we'll take it from there. Right, brilliant. Anik, gonna mute Anik. So everybody's muted. I'm not muted. Right, we're gonna crack on. So guys, if you've got questions, save them for the end, and we'll have a little Q&A, and you can wave your hands, and we'll take any questions at the end. And other than that, I'm going to pass over to Tony, who's going to control stuff for you. So I'm going to press buttons.
Yep.
And he's going to lead. So let me know what you want to do.
Okay. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Silver. The company is Solid Silver Solutions, and I'm a networking and LinkedIn tactician. What does that mean? It means that I work with people, turning their networking and their LinkedIn from a cost into an opportunity to make some money. Why am I feel that I got the right to do this? I started networking in this area about 11 years ago. The first year I networked, I was doing up to 15 events a week because I was out of work and I was using networking and LinkedIn to find a job. So I met an awful lot of people. I built a network, but I realised that I needed some help because no one teaches you properly how to do such things. And I stumbled through the first 6 months making loads and loads of mistakes. So I've spent a 4-figure sum on being trained on how to network and also how to use LinkedIn properly. I have been using it ever since to grow my network to something in the region of 2,500 to 3,000 people. And I constantly letting people know about all the latest updates and things like that, even when I wasn't doing it as a job. My circumstances changed last year. I left the Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce, and then I started my own company early this year. But with the Chamber, I'd spent 3.5 years running their events. Now, the Thames Valley Chamber is the 3rd or 4th largest in the country, and I actually put together and ran over 420 events. So I've networked anywhere from the local cheap and cheerful hotel through to actually Windsor Castle and everything in between. So that's why I think that I have a lot of things that I can give across to people. I love helping people, and what I want to do is stop them making some of the mistakes that I made, try and shortcut it, because it can take up to 6 months networking to get any purchase whatsoever. So that's me. So we shall move on to the next slide, that please, me, my assistant.
Yeah, try and find the right button.
Okay, that's not the one.
That's not the one. That's not the one. There
Okay,
you go.
yeah.
Can you all see? Can I just double check? Can you all see the time is money screen? Perfect. And you can see us as well in the box in the corner, so they can see you in the corner.
Okay, super. Well, that's all right.
And me,
okay.
waving.
Hopefully doesn't put them off too much. Yeah, this slide is very pertinent. I think a lot of people that go out networking do not actually consider the cost. When you put it together, if you start doing regular networking, I know there are some free ones, and some of them are outside your working hours, so you could say the hours are free, but you're paying money. You're paying hard cash to go to meetings. You're using up your valuable time. And what I say to a lot of people is that if you're networking during normal working hours, you should value your time as a minimum of £100 an hour. So if you're at an event for a couple of hours and we're travelling, £250 to £300 worth of opportunity, and what are you doing to get some return on investment on that? So yeah, the time is very, very much all about money. And this is where I wanted to try and shorten the process so you're not wasting so much time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the networking, it is something we all get told to do. It's something that can build very, very good relationships. And the reason that I've introduced this as taking networking onto LinkedIn, because I think they're intrinsically linked together. I feel that if you start a relationship by the normal meeting people at a networking event, exchanging cards, etc., you may not see that person until the following month. You might see them in between if you're lucky. But, you know, touch points is 5, 6, 7 times. So it could be up to 6, 7 months before you get to a point where the relationship has got to that sort of trust. So you've got to take it online. You've got to touch them digitally. It takes about between 10 and 11 digital touches to get people used to you and starting to like you. And of course, by using LinkedIn, you can do this quite successfully. It is a business to business. not really business to consumer. Some people use it for that, but really there's a lot of people in this country from very people very high up in very large organisations all the way down that use it. So it is a very big tool, and I'll give you some figures in a minute. Yeah, currently there's something like 25 million registered accounts in the UK. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is using them every day. Some of them are dormant. Some people put up a LinkedIn profile, then leave it, and then wonder why they're not getting very far. The stat at the bottom was one that interested me. I did a talk in London, and actually London has got the most connections per person in the world. About 6 months ago, it was 310. So we are really into it over here. And as I say, people from all different levels are using it to actually look for people, look for resources. So it is a massive search tool as well. So the thing about LinkedIn and why you should be on there from your networking is that it's all about regular activity. Networking, as I say, if you go to regular ones, you get to know the people. There are various different groups out there, from the BNIs through to some that have a single venue only. I think they're all worth going to. I think that anyone that tells you different is being biased. You really, until you go along, cannot tell how successful these groups are going to be. I myself went to about 6 BNIs in that first year. 3 of them I go back to, no problems at all. The other 3 I wouldn't touch. And it was about the people in the room. They were really very regimented. They weren't really interested in new people. Didn't fit in and wasn't made to feel welcome. The other 3, complete opposite. So it really is about the people in the room. So if you get invited to go networking, I suggest you do. Obviously, as I said earlier, you need to consider that cost because there is a cost there in both time and money. And I suggest people start thinking about this in their marketing, their budgeting. Because when you start adding it up retrospectively, it is quite a lot of money spent. And then if you are joining membership ones, well, there's that on top. The stat I always said to people, BNI, you're about £1,000 a year. Now, if those people in the room that you see week in, week out at 6:30 on a Friday morning are the people that are going to make you enough money to produce profit to cover it, go and join. If you're not too sure, I wouldn't bother. I would just say that there are lots of other different options out there. So get along to them. The free ones can be just as useful, but I suggest with the free ones, you're probably going to have to do more on the seeing through the room elements. It's not only the person in front of you, it is their connections. And a little tip here, everyone thinks that a lot of the accountants and solicitors of this world are boring networkers because of what they do. Can be true, but who are they? Who are their customers? They've usually got a very nice list of companies that I'm sure you'd be loved to be introduced to. So tip 1, if you meet an accountant or solicitor, yeah, connect with them, make friends of them. They're really usually quite nice people deep down. They often get forced to go networking as part of their company. But again, who are they? They're clients. They're often the sort of companies that we're all looking for to do business with. Because many of the people in the room at a networking event are of a similar ilk to yourself. A lot of these networking groups, you might get some corporates, a few SMEs. You certainly won't get many of the really big boys come along. So you're in a room with people of a similar size to yourself. Everyone is ultimately looking to sell. Hopefully they understand that's not going to happen for a while and they need to build the relationships. So yeah, I suggest that if you get offered to go along. I myself, I've started going to different places. I've been to St Albans this morning, and there's a couple of groups over there that quite interest me. I'll go down as far as Farnborough. It's just finding places where I'm not known and where their opportunities might lie. So, regular activity on LinkedIn. This is one of the biggest things that I find on people's LinkedIn is they are not active enough. They don't put in the actual effort. The biggest issue here is that it's think of LinkedIn as Google. You are really being indexed on your activity levels. So yeah, really, that's one thing. The profile is a starting point. That is the thing that most people will find if you are actually putting the right things on LinkedIn in the first place. So I suggest activity is what gets you there. But when they do land on your profile, there is a lot of things for them to consider when they first get there. You will find that the top part of your profile will have the banner. It'll have a nice little photograph of yourself, a headline underneath it, and then the first 3 words of your profile summary. Now, this is probably the most vital part of the whole thing, because in this day and age, unfortunately, you're only going to get 6, 7, 8 seconds of anyone's attention span. It's terrible, I know, but that is how it is. So unless you tick those boxes of the 4 components, they will be looking to the next person. There are so many people on there now, and they are really probably not searching as thoroughly as they should do, so they're getting quite a few. Okay, they're getting quite a few answers in their searches, of which you are just one of them. So you've got to stand out. And the first thing is to make sure that that page that they land on, your profile, ticks all the boxes. Now, the banner at the back, that is really important, because majority of people are visual. It's things that most of us will identify with first are the image side of things. Not everyone, I accept, but a lot of people do. So the banner across the back needs to tell the viewer what it is that you're all about. So the first thing I find on a lot of people's banners is they haven't changed from the standard LinkedIn one. Really, that you failed straight away, because people who are searching will know this, and well, you can't even bother to put the effort in there, then what sort of person you're going to be. It's just the way, it's not my opinion, it's just the way it is. So that banner needs to be something that tells me what you do. If you've got an industry that's very identifiable by an image, brilliant. I find a lot of people have got to actually go on and create one from an image which tells something, but it's missing a few words. Mine, I have a LinkedIn logo on mine, but I've also put the words LinkedIn networking tactician. So it's in no doubt as to what I actually do. So they've looked at that and they've been searching for something, and hopefully that then answers it. Now then look at your photograph, your image, and unless you're in a creative world and you can get all funky and all that, I suggest you have a professionally taken headshot, one that looks really, really nice, crisp, no confusion in the backgrounds. We can identify you, head and shoulders. It's very nice if you happen to own a boat and you want to take a picture of you on your boats. Really, that it doesn't work. It might seem funny to you, but basically people are looking for professionals, and that doesn't cut any ice. So once they've seen the visual side of it, the next thing is the headline. Now, for many, many years, people have thought that is just really describing what you do and who you do it for. It's because originally it was an HR product. LinkedIn was set up by the HR industry, and it's still exclusively used by them. But that little box there is not really what you should be putting in there. Is your profession, your title, your company, because it's not about you, it's about the person that is looking at it. It's all about them. So when they look at it, you might say, Joe Smith, CEO, Smith & Co. I don't care, the viewer. I really didn't give a hoot about what his job title is. What can he do for me? If it screams out that the Smith & Co. do a certain product that I'm really interested in, it needs to go on there. Are you looking for this? Well, then you come to the right place. It's quite crass. It can be a lot subtler, but that and some of the keywords will get you indexed far higher. And then when people land on it, they know that by the picture, by the background, and by that headline, they've come to the right place. And then you've got little first 3 lines of your profile which everybody, well, virtually everyone on whose profiles I do, starts off of we do, or I am. It's not about you again, it's about them. So you need to put on there what you can do for them. This is really, really important because, again, it's continuing. If you grip them then, they've got to scroll down. They can't see anymore. Then that's when they scroll down and they see the rest of your profile. They can see all the good stuff, all your experiences, and lots and lots of other bits as well, which we come to in a minute. So really, that is really, really important. But how do people find you in the first place? It's activities, as I said before. Regular activity, and when I say regular, I really do. I say, one of my main products is a profile analysis, and I do it from people that have just started in business and people that I've known for 10 years. And invariably, one of these boxes does not get ticked. Articles, if any of you are bloggers out there, get those blogs onto LinkedIn, because articles is LinkedIn's version of a blog. Make sure it isn't just words. It actually has an awful lot of pictures, little bits of white space. Make it nice to look at and do it regularly. I suggest that once a month as a minimum. I've realised that people are sometimes really time poor, but I tend to do them once a fortnight if I can. And I then put them in a vault and I'll repurpose them because you can use them again in a year's time, things like that. So get a nice article on there. It's a great way of showing you're an expert in your field. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We want to be seen as experts in our field. Therefore, people want to engage with us. The other areas of activity are obviously the posts. And again, because they're little short snapshots, you should be able to do one a day. There'll be something in the news, there'll be something in your industry, there'll be something like a hint or a tip or something you've learned that you can want to share with your network. Again, that's good practice to do that on a regular basis. Some people don't do either of those. They just comment on other people's. They'll share content, they'll like things, and they make some comments. This is fine. It all helps towards the indexing, but it's really your stuff that is the powerful side of this. Really get into the habit of doing those articles and those posts. Now, there's an area on LinkedIn which, unfortunately, when Microsoft took over, they ruined. They are now in the process of trying to put it right. I saw something that came across my desk earlier. They are really making groups much, much easier to use on mobile devices, because they've actually cottoned on to the fact that most of us look at it on mobile devices. Groups, when I was doing this 8 years ago, was really, really, really strong place to be. I set up 2 of my own and ran them, and it really helped me. But they're also a great place to find people. So when you actually join a group, I suggest you make it relevant. So is it your industry? Is it your geographical area? Is it where you're likely to find your prospects are lurking? A great way of doing this is, if you really are targeted, and this is one thing that I carry through from networking to LinkedIn, you need to target, really, really target why you're in that room when you're networking. So that I say, always use the rule of 3, very, very, very popular in storytelling, is, and it's the same with the 60 seconds that we all have to put up with the networking. You need a beginning, need a middle, need an end. Well, when you're targeting, if you're coming up to me in the middle of a networking meeting, what I want to hear from you is what level the person's at you're looking for, what industry they're from, and what geographical area. If you can do that, then I can probably think of someone that I can actually signpost you to. For instance, mine tends to be, I'm looking for partners in professional service companies, and then the area, it depends on where I'm networking. And that's my consistent story. People know that's what I'm looking for. So people will then think, and then they will start to refer you. So you really need to be targeted. So in the group side of things, it's much the same, be in groups that are relevant. But there's also another little area that we used to use a lot, and it will come back when the groups are more active. And that is, you found someone, you've been targeted, you found the person's name, or the MD in a company, you found a way via searching you found some information, but you go onto LinkedIn and you can't get to them because they're too far removed. They're third or beyond connections. And please don't go and fork out money to go to Pro. I know I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I have to do that because I couldn't go telling people I know about LinkedIn if I'm not on there. Do I use it? Very, very infrequently, because you find people other ways. So find that person. You see, you can't communicate with them directly. Go into their profile, go into the groups that they're in, go and have a move around there. Find out where they're discussing things, where they're getting involved in. Go and join that group. Get involved with discussions they're involved in. So when you do say in that group, hi, I think it might be a good idea if we could connect it, I've never had anyone say no to me then, because they're used to dealing with me. They're used to my input. Therefore, it's quite natural for them to say yes. I could have paid £49 and sent them an email, but even that sort of, it's beating the system, but they still didn't know me from Adam. So I actually think this is a better way. So activity in groups is really, really, really good. Again, I suggest you don't have too many of these. 10 to 12 is probably a good area. You can have a few on top for luxuries, but if you're going to be looking and being active in them, that's the sort of quantity that I would say get involved in. And then another area on your profile, which is really, really, really good for indexing, and a lot of people miss it completely, is that at the bottom of your profile summary, you can add in media links. So mine has got one video so far. I intend to put a few more on there. It's got links to other websites. It's got links to some articles, etc. Links back to my website. Again, links and video, just like Google, LinkedIn loves. It will index you higher. It shows you you're making an effort, so your profile will be elevated.
Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wrong one.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
okay.
I'm on the wrong screen. There's probably 3 screens going.
Yeah, we're trying lots of things here. Right. The main reason that I'm very passionate about people's and their profiles, and just putting that bit of work in, just making sure you're ticking all those boxes. So I don't set the boxes. It's the way the industry is, and it does change. The algorithms change from time to time. But as you can see on the screen, the one thing that frightens a lot of people when I tell them at networking events, I can see your profile 24/7, 365. And guess what? Anyone in the world can as well. And that means that you could be being searched while you're asleep, out in the meetings, etc. And is that profile a good reflection of the person that I could meet? Very often it's not, because as soon as I meet you, I can assure you I shall be straight on LinkedIn, if not in the car when I get home, and to see if it's congruent. And most of the time, people aren't doing themselves any favors, because their profile is not the nice dynamic person that I've just sat down and chat with. And I feel that I'm quite passionate that if it was, they would be getting found far more regularly on searches. And when they're found on searches, they can be scrolled down and you can look at all the good bits down there.
Oh, I'm on the wrong screen again. I keep hopping around. There you go.
So yeah, there's a massive strength in combining the two. This is what the whole point of this, which originally was a 20-minute presentation I did in London for a networking group. It's combining the two together. So, you need to get your networking right. You need then to take it online, and the two together are extremely powerful. Going back to networking, there's very few people that actually do training in that particular area. It's something that I'm looking to do with some of the networking groups themselves to deliver it for their members. I know BNI do it, and it is pretty basic, but it's there. Because you get told to network, or you find out about networking, and off you go to your first events. And it's for me now, I know it. I just never phased. But the first event I did was from a Chamber of Commerce, and there were 70 what I would call suits in the room, and I'm walking in as an unemployed person. It didn't go too well. I had to change my tactics pretty quickly after that, but I knew that it's something that would work if I did it properly. So I spent money I didn't have, because I was out of work at the time, learning from someone who was very, very good at networking and taught me a shed load of hints and tips. And it's what I try and impart to people. Before you even go networking, you need a plan. You know, what are you going to be doing at this event? And again, it's having those metrics in place. So I would often say that one of the most basic ones for me is to go and have 3 or 4 very good conversations at an event. I always will take people's cards rather than give mine out, because if I take your card, it means I'm going to be doing something for you, and I have a reputation for doing something for you. It's my way of making sure the card gets used. You give me your card, I actually thank you for that. It's so you paid money for it. You put ideas in there. I will then use that to give you something back. So I love that side of things, and I don't give my card out that often because people take it back, put it by their laptop, a few phone calls and emails later, and it's put in a box. So I really suggest that if you're going to be swapping cards, value your card at the end of the day. But you do need a plan. So I will go out and I will actually look at my watch and think, oh, only about half hour left. I've only done 2 or 3 of and I'll go looking for that 4th one, because when I get back home, I will measure myself against what I went out for. It's, there's a few things that what doesn't get measured doesn't get done, but I like to measure it. And if I've not come up short, then I need to have a word with myself about it. But it's not the only thing I go out networking for. The other things are market research. A lot of people don't think about that side of it, because you'll have people that are potentially customers but also competitors in the room. Do some market research. And for the smaller micro companies, there are a host of other people out there who you can buy some time from. Now, I like doing what I'm doing now. I like going out, networking, meeting people, speaking, but I'm not so good at other things. I've had a go at marketing. I now give it to someone else to do. Accounts I wouldn't even consider doing. I gave that to someone else to do as well. People that I've been networking with for quite a while have now got some business from me, and I trust them implicitly. They do it probably in half the time it will take me, and they get it right, whereas I will probably get it wrong. So that's another reason for going out there, networking. Build a network, not just of prospects, but also go looking for people that can refer you. Now, referrals are, we all know, one of the best ways of getting business. But again, people aren't going to refer you just like that. You've got to build on this. You've got to give them genuine reasons why they should be referring you. And even myself, I built those relationships up way ago. When I went to work for the Chamber of Commerce, I was a bit off the scene, really, because I was only networking within the Chamber, because it was up at 5:30 in the mornings and staying late at night, and I didn't have an awful lot of time or energy left for any other networking. So when I come back on the scene about 6 months ago, everyone remembered me, which is brilliant, because I've been continuing to touch base with them on LinkedIn. But it took a little while for me to get back into being able to say, right, okay, I'm back. This is now what I want. Forget what you heard from me in the past. I'm now looking to work with professional service companies, but also I'm looking to run workshops for some of the smaller companies that can't afford the day rate. And it took me a little while, but I've established the majority of those relationships again. And then I found some new relationships. I'm looking at one here now, Ash. Again, that came out of knowing people. I said to my network, I'm looking for some new groups to go to. Anyone know of any? And a friend of ours called Paul Fogg said, yeah, I'd go to one. Come along, which I duly did. And that's where I met Ash. Hit it off fairly quickly. And we're doing this webinar. So things can happen quickly, but you've got to put the effort in. You've got to let people know what you do. If I'd have been wishy-washy, I wouldn't have been sitting here now. Ash wouldn't know what the hell I did. But I was fairly succinct in what I did do, and he picked up on it straight away. You need to be really, really targeted, as I said earlier. I'll bang the gong on and on and on about being targeted, because if you aren't, you're not going to get the help that you're really looking for. And it's the same on LinkedIn. Be targeted when you network. Tell people what you want. Don't be shy. but then we go back to LinkedIn, and the fact it is a search engine. Now, I know how to use it. Again, I got trained. I spent a lot of money again being trained how to use it, and it does change on a regular basis. But a lot of people see that box at the top, put in the search requirements, push a button, and they come up with thousands, if not millions, of results. That's not an awful lot of use to you, really. There are filters on there. Go look for them. It's on the right-hand side as when you put in the search criteria. Go to advanced search, look at the filters. I'm doing that at the moment in time, and I'm getting results which are between 35 and 40. I can handle that. I can exclude the ones that I already know or I'm not interested in, or slightly don't quite fit the criteria. But then I'm left with 20 people who are my target market, so I can engage with them. It's a lot harder when it's 1.3 million. Now, I proved this not so long ago with a speaking friend of mine who's extremely good at what he does, no good at LinkedIn. He openly admits it. And I said, well, look, I want to play with your profile. He says, oh, he kept putting me off and putting me off and putting me off. And then we went to a seminar. We were there early. I said, look, your computer's here. I want to have a go at it. So I said, what do you want to be known for at this moment in time? He said, keynote speaking, really. He said, I'm enjoying it. He said, it pays and gets me to go all over Europe. I said, right, super, let's put a search in. And I just used the standard search bar and I put it in there. And we got 1.3 million as the number of people that actually fulfill that criteria. So I said, right, we'll have a look for you. And we went through page 1, 2, 3, 4, got to 10. I said, you're not there. You're not even in the game. You were pretty much out of the game once I went past page 1, to be honest with you. Because again, it's very much like Google. People don't tend to go past page 1. If you're on page 1, that's why all these SEO experts are out there sort of telling you that's where you need to be. Yes, you do, really, because people have so many choices, they don't bother going beyond that. So I went into his profile. I changed things on there, tweaked a few things, changed that headline, which is really important. We really pushed the button, and he came up number 6 out of 1.3 million. He was kind of happy. He got some work off the back of that. So it is, if you fulfill those criteria, you're going to get found. So I've tweaked his, but again, I showed him how I would search, and it's, when you go into those advanced searches, look at the filters. You can do it by literally the type of work. So I always fill in partner. There's industries in there. There's education. There's loads of different things, which means you can come down to a nice size output which you can actually work on, rather than wading through pages and pages and pages that are probably not relevant anyway. So it's a massive search engine. You can look for companies in there as well. I suggest you do that. And there are many other little things in there you can do. I think a lot of people don't spend enough time looking at the other things on LinkedIn. They just do what they do. And then that's their activity. And realistically, that is not enough.
So look, before we go on to the next stage, I've got some questions. So everyone, so you can see my face. I hope you can see the big screen still too. I've got a couple of questions for Tony that I've been writing down as we go along. So hopefully you'll be able to answer these. So the first one is, have you got any examples of some great profiles? Because I could bring them up.
Well, put up mine then. You've got to live and die by the sword. So mine, it's like a lot of people that work on the business, their own is not always brilliant, but I work on one on a regular basis. I tinker with it on a regular basis, and playing with the settings on LinkedIn, you can make sure that your network are aware when you make certain changes. So I go on there and I will tinker with that headline, just rephrasing it from time to time, just to give the SEO a kick. Man, that's me.
Tell me about the K.
Yes, the K. Now, this is something that I've used for a while, but it was hammered home to me by a lady that came along and spoke to us at a seminar I was at. She had an initial in the middle of hers. And she explained why she did that. And it made perfect sense to me. Because if you go and search for Tony Silver on Google, you will find me. You also find, I believe there's an American director. I think there's also a porn star. So there are things you probably don't want to be associated with. You put Tony K Silver on there and you get my Facebook, you get my LinkedIn, you get Google, you get me. And that's kind of what I want people to do. So they go looking for Tony K Silver, they find all about me and no one else is there. So if we go and, can we share this screen?
Yeah, I think that you can all see this screen, can't you?
Yeah, okay, if we go up to the top then, this is me. So, I put networking, LinkedIn and tactician, I've added those in there. So it's kind of really hits you in the face. That's what I do. The image might need updating because I'm slightly older than that now. But it's still
a professional photo.
It's professional. Yeah. It's been taken by someone that who takes professional headshots for a living, and it's clear people recognise me by it. And I think I changed this earlier today. Want better results from your LinkedIn profile? Well, if you've been searching for LinkedIn and then I ask that question, you're going to say yes or no. You're going to say yes. So I train people so their profile ranks higher in searches. And it's exactly what we're talking about now. The higher you rank, the more likely you are. So that, to me, is tick the box.
Shall I open this up?
Yeah, you can open up anything down there. So I think on your profile, lots of nice white space. Benefits down the bottom, I put down there, I bullet pointed it. I refresh it on a regular basis. The bit at the bottom we're just going to is the extras. So I've just literally done a video at the weekend.
Is that the
yeah, and then there's links to URLs and articles.
Extras.
Yeah, because I kind of I also read a lot. I'm a massive consumer of business books, and this particular author there I'm going to be meeting this Friday, and I'm chuffed to bits to be able to meet him. I'm sure that Ash already knows him. His books he writes are absolutely brilliant. Robert Cialdini is an absolute genius, and I use his methods all the time. So again, I'm trying to share stuff that I think is valuable to people, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The highlights, then obviously that comes up between me and Ash. We have a certain number of people with mutual connections.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 71 mutual connections we've got. Okay. Articles and activity. If you go to see all articles on there for me, please, Ash.
Yeah.
Then I am writing on a regular basis, September, so I'm due to write one fairly soon. But I do them on a regular basis. I try and make them informative. I try and make them think. Some of them are particularly aimed at professional services partners to make them think about the big problem they have, which is all their juniors going out networking and spending time which could be used for billing. So they're probably £500 plus of billing hours they are using at a networking event, and they're not actually achieving anything at all. So yeah, I put it up there on a regular basis. And then if you want to scroll down further, come out of that. Go back to the view full profile for us, Ash.
Shows how little I use.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So a quick question that just showed me. What's the difference between articles and posts?
Well, articles realistically is LinkedIn's blog. It is something that actually, when you hit it, it will take you onto a separate page, and it's in a blog format. So it's sections.
So is that written within LinkedIn rather than you doing a link to something else?
Yeah, no, it's all within LinkedIn.
Amy, I hope you listen to that.
I'm happy to help. But yeah, it is. I mean, I quite often will write a blog for my website and repurpose it on LinkedIn as well. But as you go through LinkedIn, you will put the text in there and the little boxes, which mean you can then insert pictures, you can insert video in there. So they are really a blog. So you're looking at 350 to 500 words on average. They take half hour to write properly. A post, 2 or 3 lines, 1 minute. It's just you commenting on something. It's maybe something you learned today. You're just passing on information. Okay. But again, I also suggest you look at your feeds that comes through. If you see something you really like, share it. At the end of the day. And don't forget, they've got all hashtagging on us as well. Yes, boys and girls, use hashtags.
Is that working?
It is, yeah, because it's now becoming a thing. People are now picking up on it, and you can follow it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is use @tags. So
Do what tags?
@.
Tags. Oh, right.
Tags.
At.
Yeah. So if I wanted to do a post and I wanted to let Ash know that I've included him in it, I put @Ash Taylor.
Oh, that tags me.
And it tags you in. It tags you in. So as you put it in there @AS8, it'll come up with a list of people, and you just choose the person, and it puts them in there. They will get notified that they've come up in this as well. So it's a good way of actually involving people, getting people, even if it's someone you're sort of prospecting, get them involved in it. You know, they're aware that you're actually talking about them. There's also something else in there. Go to the More button. This, I like playing with this little tool here.
This one.
That's it. This is very powerful, this More button, because there's loads of different things there. So yeah, you can share your profile, save it to a PDF. You can remove me if you wanted to. You can report or block me. Request a recommendation. We'll come back to that in a minute. And get kudos. This is the new toy. Click on it. It's a bit of fun, but basically you can give the person whose profile you're on some kudos. So there's about 7, 8, 9. I think they're increasing it. There's all these little messages that you know Ash could send that to me, and he can actually tailor it. There you go. You can change the wording on it, and then he sends it to me. And it's just a nice little thank you. But again, it's all part about building a relationship. It doesn't take long to do. It goes through on your feed. It goes through on their feed. It's just a nice little touch. It's got something in it, but it's not a massive thing. But it's not many people are doing it. It's quite new. People don't know about it. So it's.
I've done that.
Thank you very much. So that will that will sort of put a smile on someone's face for one day. It's really good. So let's go down. Got any more questions there?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Go on, keep going.
So how effective are you finding commenting in groups and on posts in terms of engaging with people?
I use it as a tactic. Being a tactician, funny. If I'm actually really wanting to get in with someone, then I'm always sort of looking around, commenting on their stuff. Ultimately, I'm trying to get a one-to-one. Everything I do on LinkedIn, if I've not met the person, they are a prospect, I'm trying to get to that one-to-one meeting with them, because that, to me, is still the best way of doing business, building relationships. Anything you want to say, one-to-one, really, really is most effective. Look them in the whites of their eyes, you can tell if they're telling fibs or they're interested or not. It is far better. Phone's the next one. I'm trying to avoid email. It's getting really blasé now. People use it as an excuse for not doing real work.
So I mean, going on from that then, I've had, I mean, if we go on to mine,
yep,
or go into my messages anyway, I get so many approaches from other coaches, mentors, who are then trying to sell me their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, this guy here, if you have any challenges with frustration, your current flow of new coaching consultant clients. I mean, almost every connection I'm getting at the moment is people trying to get me leads as a coach, which I get quite frustrated with, to be honest, because...
Well, I have some rules around who I connect to.
So how sorry, what I was going to say to you, so how do you manage that? And equally, more importantly, what is a good way to reach out to people rather than just a blunt message like that?
Well, that, I mean, he's a connection of yours, is he?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Reasonable. So... I mean, I'm connecting with somebody because they're giving me a really nice message saying, oh, we both know these people.
It's a bot.
And then I'm getting, I mean, he's a real person.
Yeah, but he's got a bot working for him.
Right.
Now, it's come around recently that this bot which says, hi, it extracts your name from the thing. I see we have X connections together.
Right.
Therefore, I'd like to connect with you. All that bot is doing is extracting your name and the number of connections and then sending it out. It's not a real person.
Right.
It's probably set off by a real person, and it sounds quite friendly, you know. Yeah, if you've got sort of 30, 40 connections in common, it sounds like you a reasonable thing. And I would have done it in the past, but I would say to everybody, when you receive a LinkedIn connection, if it's the standard request, with no personalisation whatsoever, unless you just met this person and they're just doing it as a follow-up, I don't ever accept those. I don't disrespect them. I will then, because I've got mine linked, I will get an email message whenever I get a LinkedIn request. From my Gmail account, I can then email them off platform saying, yeah, really interested to know why you'd like to link in with me.
If I don't get a response,
And 95% of the time I never hear again.
Right.
It is them, and I know what they're after. It is my connections, because my connections are closed to anyone who's not in my network.
Right.
So those 2,300 people in my network are protected by me. I do not want Tom, Dick and Harry. So if you come on with a standard, I just don't. If I see someone or I meet them and we do connect, I've also just recently gone about putting a new thing in place as well, because I found a lot of people take your card or whatever it is, I take theirs, we're linking, and I'll say, how can I help you? Because I'm always about helping, and I don't hear, okay, fair enough. A month later, I go do it again. I'll say, I haven't heard from you for a month, do you think we can do anything? And if I don't hear again a month later from that, I actually delete them. Because I've had 2 months. Even if they said, look, Tony, at the moment, Tom, I don't have any use for your services, or there's no need to chat about anything, but like something in the future, or just anything, but I'm getting nothing. So in 2 months, they're not engaging with me, then I don't really need them, because it's just numbers in that case.
So that's a little bit like going networking and meeting somebody and asking them to have a one-to-one outside of the room, and then just going, no. It's a bit of a pointless
it's a bit of a pointless exercise, because I'd love to try and help you. But if you're not going to communicate with me, I don't see why I should bother beyond 2 months, to be honest with you. So when you've got someone like this chap, you can mute them. If someone is continually you can delete the conversation, you can report the conversation,
just mute it,
and you can mute it. So at the end of the day, you can stop the guy's feed coming through and annoying you. It does beg the question why you're connected to him, if that's all he's going to do. Yes, I offer to help people, but I mean, to me, it looks like it's a standard that you send out to anyone who particularly fits the bill.
Yeah. If you're a coach, you get in, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, if people are really genuine, how long does it take to do a connection request that is personalised? If people don't know how to do it, it's very simple.
Yeah.
It is literally. Let's go into your profile, back into the main part of it. Let's go and search for somebody.
You can just do it off here.
Yeah, just do a search for someone that you're not connected to, but you know, or something like that. Yeah.
I'm connected to everybody.
All right, that's fair enough then.
No, I'm not. Who should we search for?
Go in a group and just look for a name or something like that, or.
Now
I've got him. Right.
Group.
All right. Okay. All right. Don't worry about it. It probably would take too long.
Okay.
But basically, you have a little drop-down menu with 3 dots on the right-hand side, which gives you the more option. And in that more option, it says personalised request.
Right.
Please personalise the request.
Gotcha.
Now, a lot of people said, I can't do it because I'm on my phone. No, LinkedIn have changed that. Same thing. 3 dots on your phone, you can personalise it. So there's no excuse not to send out a personalised request.
Right.
So when you're getting people like that who are annoying you, I would seriously suggest that you think about whether you want them to be in your network. Because at the end of the day, unless you change your settings to block them from seeing your connections, they could be doing it to all your connections as well.
Right.
Not that they're going to find out it came from you, but it's, I protect my connections. I value them. I don't want people pestering them. It's like letting, which we did once upon a time at Chamber, a solo person, micro business, come into a corporate insight dinner, and they literally sat on this guy's lap throughout the whole 2 hours. And he was one of the chief directors at BMW in Oxford Mini. He was not impressed.
No, I don't.
So yes, I would try and definitely protect my people from that.
So the last question I've got, and then we'll ask the other guys, is, and they're 2 in 1, is, from the stuff that you've talked about today, and I know some people here network and some people don't network, and obviously the focus today, I want to focus on LinkedIn, because I think those of us who network are doing all right with it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have come here because of the LinkedIn element. Well, I totally understand the connection between the two. And I've never really thought about using LinkedIn as almost as an extension of my networking. So that's been really useful for me. But for these guys, if you were going to give them, say, I don't know, a 7-day challenge, what are the, say, 7 things or 5 to 7 things that they could do one a day for the next 5 to 7 days that would raise their profile, that would get them more of the right connections, that would, I don't know, help them get a better reach or be found better on LinkedIn?
Did I put that
People
on
are
a
searching.
slide? Can I just look at the slide?
I don't know.
No, I was just double checking. Did them at lunchtime today, but
So I'm not sure.
oh, there we go. So if we,
This one here.
yeah.
Mm.
So there you
There you
go.
go.
1, 2, 3,
This
4,
one.
5, 6, 7. Hey,
Oh,
I guess. Look at that. Yes, telepathy works.
Wrong way. Let's go back.
Yeah. So to answer his question, I had already answered his question on a slide. We've seen that one. We've seen that one. That one, you know, to plan to succeed, you need a plan. Even if you're only networking, you need a plan. Using LinkedIn, you need a plan. You know, boring as it may be, if you plan to do something, chances are you're actually going to succeed at it.
Yeah.
So the next slide, I would say, my plan for anyone that's been on this webinar or anyone I meet really, having heard what I've said and taken it on board, or, you know, at the end of the day, you don't have to. 1,000 events I've been to, it's kind of taught me that most of these ring true with me and also all the other really experienced networkers that I meet. And it's plan what you're going to do at your next event. Literally, before you go, write it down on a bit of paper, what you're going to do, go to the event, act like you normally do, and then go back and see if your normal networking actually carried out your plan. If it didn't, then there's a few adjustments going to be needed. But yeah, you'll find it very useful that if you do, you know, so I do catch myself at some meetings going, I'm running out of time here, I need to actually get on and do something, because you can get caught up talking to your friends very easily. You can become a social, and some networking events, great, they are social all over. So yeah, have a look at that plan next time. Go out and work to the plan and review it after the event. So if it's like me, it's 3 or 4 good conversations. Did you have those 3 or 4 good conversations? Have you got those cards? Have you followed up? Follow up. I will keep saying it. Everything you do, and there's lots of sayings out there, you know, it's not who you know, it's what you know. It's neither. It's what you do about it. It's the action you take. So knowing someone important or really good is pointless unless you do something about it. And if you've got some knowledge, share it. You know, take action. It's my hashtag I use on everything. So then we go to the profile. Now, I've given you enough information to actually realise there's probably elements on your profile that you'd like to work on. Yeah, I would say pick 3 or 4 really, really important ones. There's some quick wins there. So the first 4 points on when people open your profile is probably, to me, the most important. Make sure your banner is something that people recognise as being related to the industry you're in. Make sure there's a really nice picture there for you. Get that headline, get them to think, I'll come to the right person here, they're asking the right questions. And then get the summary, profile summary, first 3 lines, just to carry it on. So they scroll down. Once they scroll down, you can then hit them with all the good stuff. Go networking, next point. Meet someone new. Take the relationship onto LinkedIn. You might not do it normally. Just see how you think it flows. And again, the reason I would say to people while looking into them is that I can't see them regularly, but you know, we can touch base on LinkedIn on a regular basis. So again, next thing, build those relationships with regular touch points. It's a bit like I was saying earlier. It's great people coming along and asking to join my network, and I love new people. But then please make some activity regularly, sort of be in contact, because otherwise I feel a bit lonely. And say at the end of the day, you might get removed because you haven't been talking to me.
I like that.
Right, really important one. Now, I know a lot of you out there are shy. I'm actually no names. But you need to ask for referrals. You need to ask for recommendations. Referrals comes through networking. Recommendations is on LinkedIn. It's massive. If you go into someone's profile, you scroll down and you see that they've got 1 or 2 recommendations, and then you go on to someone else's who's you found in the same search and they got 30, 40, it's social proof. You're going to go with a 30 or 40. You know, it's a natural instinct that 1 or 2 recommendations, they can't be up to much. Now, I know people are really, really shy about asking. You can't be shy in this business. You know, it's the same as testimonials for your website. You need to be asking people for these on a regular basis. Not everyone I ask for a recommendation gives it to me. Oh, no offense to that. But I ask probably 1 person a month. And if I've done a really good piece of work, then it's naturally part of my process. I will ask them to do that. So ask for them, build them up, you know, because that's only going to help you. And to be honest with you, some people will look at your profile and see you've got 40 recommendations, probably won't even read one. It's the figure that counts. And the last one, I can't sort of... yes. The important thing, although it's nothing about what I've been discussing, but it's the next part of what I do with people is, if you've got a CRM system, make sure you make notes and all these on your CRM system. You know, if it's only a spreadsheet because you've only started out, fine, but you need to track the information somewhere. I actually often refer back to, I do a lot of direct messaging people on LinkedIn because that's the way I tend to communicate with them, because it's all stored on there. So I can actually troll back through the conversation and see when I spoke to someone about something, and I find that really useful as on top of a CRM system. So, you know, Ash and I have been talking on there for a while. I can scroll back and find out when he told me certain things. So right, okay, I've got that now. So yeah, make sure you do record these things. You won't remember everything. You're seeing lots of people. Just do yourself a favour, record it down somewhere.
That's good advice. So just last question from me, and then we've got at least one from Benedict, which I'll come to in a second. But just coming back specifically to LinkedIn, if you were going to kind of, you know, what would be the one thing that I could do tomorrow? But I've got half an hour set aside to work on my LinkedIn profile. I'm not interested in the networking bit, but just want to do better with my LinkedIn. What would that one thing or 2 things be? That
well, I would say it's really all around that first 4 points, the bit that everyone sees when they open it. Unless it's perfect already, that's what I would look at. Making sure that your profile picture's right, but your background, actually, let's look at your background. This is I can't remember what Ash's looks like. I'm sure that it's perfectly all right. I just want to I want to have a quick look at it. So you view your profile.
That one.
Yeah. View your profile, yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, that Ash's kind of tells you that he's a speaker, right? It's very clear there that it's a picture of him. A rating is a picture of him at a seminar. So that very much is what that is telling me. Possibly doesn't tell me that you do anything else.
No, that's fair. I just like the photo. I've learned something.
And the other thing is the photograph is consistent across your social media platform. Yeah. That again is something else. If you've got a photograph which works, it becomes part of your branding. Please use it across all different formats. So that again, if you have that half hour, just make sure that works for you. Again, he's a business coach, a speaker, a masterminds, and 10K months.
That's deliberately vague, so people ask about it.
Yeah, okay, that works for some people. Other people can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And in this digital age, can't be bothered. Fairly high percentage, unfortunately. But again, I mean, at the start of it, one of the biggest challenges in growing business is to do. Yeah, I mean, it's asking questions. I would still be a little bit punchy about them, because it's like your website. This profile is for them; it's not for you.
Yeah.
So spend time making sure that is right. Another thing, go and ask for a recommendation. You've done some good work. I know you have. Everybody out there has done some good work recently. Go out and ask that person for a recommendation. That's quite an easy
thing to do, isn't it?
It is. It's very easy. Yeah, go and ask. It doesn't. You know, it's easy to ask them face to face because you're doing it for a platform. Yeah. So do that, and then let's think of something else that's really, really useful. Yeah, go and get some media onto your profile summary. So you've got, you know, some videos down there. Ash has got. They're great for indexing. So yeah, I mean, you must, you have something. Oh, and here's a dashboard. Now, see, this is, I can't see this when I look at your profile.
No, you can only see your own.
You can only see your own. Now, this tells me that I know Ash. He's really good at what he does. 86 search appearances in the last. I tinkered with mine last week, and I went from 102 to 162. And that tells me that 162 people, I was the answer to their search. Now, I then had 212 people view my profile.
So it's actually thinking about changing it quite often.
It's
Just to keep refreshing it.
It's tinkering, yeah.
Because I think a lot of people just sort of create their LinkedIn profile and then just leave it.
No. And I have to say, it's a product I never really thought I would be looking to introduce, but people have asked me to. It's now to actually start looking after their profiles for them. It's something that I will do as long as I have a weekly call with them to make sure it's all up to date and pertinent. But, at the end of the day, knowing how good Ash is, those numbers are a bit low. And I severely think he can raise those. It just means that fresh people you may not even know of will find you.
Will find me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Unless, of course, you're all too busy and you've got no capacity, then great. But I suggest then you read the Pumpkin Plan and get rid of those people that waste your time and money. Yeah.
So, great book, by the way, if you haven't read it.
Yeah, really good book.
It's good fun. So, okay, so question from Benedict is, are you still there, Benedict? Hello, waving. Do you want to speak it, Benedict, or shall I just speak it out? I can't hear you.
I can speak.
You can speak.
You can speak.
Hello.
There you go.
So I've unmuted myself. I've cheated. Okay. Tony, you showed on your profile that under your name, there is like a phrase, a tagline. For me, what comes through is my role in my last job. So how did you manage to get something different?
So is that here?
Yes.
That there. That basically, when you go into edit your profile,
Because that's
go onto yours, because you can't edit mine, but you can obviously edit yours. See that pencil that he was pointing at?
The headline.
The headline.
And you can put whatever you want in there.
Okay.
It
So
was
that's where I need to
it
change.
was traditionally it was your job, and I must admit, most people 5 years ago that's what we would have seen in there. But now people have got far cleverer and realise that actually it's a great place to put. Don't put your phone number in there. A lot of people do that, and it's kind of
Okay.
naff. But yeah, please put in something there that's going to catch my attention and sort of, well, okay.
Okay.
So that's but that little thing in the top corner. Every time you see a little pencil, you can edit, and I suggest that for most people, tinkering with their profile on a regular basis becomes activity in LinkedIn's eyes, and therefore it's indexed. Therefore it gives me another kick in the SEO charts. And I might change 2 or 3 words, and that's all I'll do. But it actually, they're not clever enough to realise that's all I've done.
Yeah.
And it'll kick it.
And your second question?
My second question is about the name. You added the letter in the middle, Tony K.
Yeah.
There is another Benedict Philippon who is an actor from Belgium. I see, Ash, you've got a footballer, so when I type your name, all the info on the footballer comes through.
Hello.
So if I were to add a letter, which I did on my Facebook, do you use it on your website and on your business card as well?
Yeah, it's part of your branding, and it elevates itself into being an important part of your branding. Yes, I suggest that you have it across all your platforms, your website, etc. The hardest thing you find is when I do my 60 seconds, forget it. But you need to.
And do you use your middle name basically, or did you invent another letter? Or?
That is actually my middle name's Keith, so it actually is real. There is nothing wrong with you inventing.
Just invent one.
It really isn't. I don't want to see someone putting Junior on the end of the name or something stupid like that. And middle, it's a bit American, but it will mean that they will find you when they look for you and not the other person.
Or you could go with Davis Love Benedict Philippon III.
Yeah. Okay, I think he's going off track here.
Because my middle name is my sister's name, so that's always weird. Okay.
Right, yes, that could be. But yeah, but you're only using the letter, so not the full part of it. But yes, it means that chances of people finding anyone else but you are remote.
Okay,
Cool.
that's
Thank
great.
you for that,
Thanks.
Benedict. Useful
Yeah.
questions. So we've had no other questions come in,
Oh.
I don't think. So obviously, I'm just going to mute you, Benedict, if that's all right. Don't unmute yourself, because that'd be really mean. I'm trying to think where that's gone. There we go. So I'll just put that back on there, like that. Do that, and then just tick that through. What's the last slide?
It is just a bit of fun.
Ah, that one. Okay, so we've had our questions. So if there are no questions typed in, Tony, that was really useful. I learnt a few bits and pieces there, which was good, and I'm pretty well, I wouldn't say prolific, but I at least use LinkedIn. So
Yeah,
that was.
As I say,
quite
it
useful.
is.
And if people want to get hold of you and have any further questions, how can they do that? Have you got the slide on here with your details on?
I omitted that, no, because I used it before. Do you have a list of the people?
Yeah, what I'll do is obviously we'll send this recording.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll add the extra slide on the end with my details. I don't think they're there. No, they're not at all. And we'll send everyone a copy of the slides. I know there's not a great deal of wording on there, but hopefully it will just jog your memory as to what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's always useful.
Yeah, I am available most days. If I don't answer straight away, send me a text or something instead. I will always get back to you because that's my reputation and I do not want it tarnished by not getting back to someone. And I think, again, for yourselves, if you want a general business tip, I find a lot of people are so slow on the follow-up. When you're quick, you put yourself ahead of an awful lot of people because they just, even if it's just a holding slide, it's just a holding conversation saying, I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. We're just impatient. We send an email or something, a message, and we want an instant response.
Results, like everything else.
Exactly, and we're just, it's not possible all the time, unfortunately. We're actually doing some work.
Cool. All right, everybody. Well, I shall let you get on with your evenings. Thank you very much for driving down and sharing the airspace with me.
That's okay. I enjoyed it, as I say.
Amy, thank you, Amy, and thank you, Enda, for your thank yous. I shall see everybody very soon. Cheers.
All the best. Cheers.
Bye-bye.